So, query. How's the trade out here looking? So, Serpent's Head, Bjornrik's taking the lion's share, and unfortunately that's really bad for the Gnomish hierarchy, because a lot of the colonial trade comes via Delaire, which is dominated... Actually, hang on. Oh no, it can go to the Dragon Coast. Never mind. For some reason I thought that this only went north and this one would go either way, but it's not. Okay, never mind. So they can actually get money direct to the Dragon Coast. So it doesn't matter that much if they don't control the Serpent Shield. It's just that the money from up here goes to the Serpent Shield. It does not go direct to the Dragon Coast. Are the gnomes even trying? No, they have a merchant here, but that's all, and they are very heavily embargoed. Nope, they are very heavily overextended. Really? Oh yeah. Yokand, Lonely Isle, Manerd, and Turnwall. Oh, I stand corrected. They did actually take a bunch of stuff down here. From Lorent. Okay, fair enough. Then I stand corrected. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Rubenair, how are you doing with your crazy glut of vassals? And one of Rubenair's adventuring companies just started in Elnar as well, which they could have chosen to play as, which I accidentally just clicked on, so I hope that didn't change anything. Always makes me nervous when you get an event as an observer and you still click on one of the options because you don't have the option like in Hearts of Iron to just minimize it. Always makes me nervous, like what if this does actually do something? Have I just forced Torshin to now go and play as the random adventuring party in Elnar? Or even just like breaking the AI so that AI then thinks it's also playing in Rubenair. Oh, big fight. We've got Oslam Azdir being absolutely butchered by a True Dagger here. Oh, sorry, Relskulker. True Dagger was down here, which they did win. And this might well be a stack wipe. Probably one of the adventuring companies it was. Local adventurers defeated. And you are still losing 25 grand a month. You are almost 2,000 ducats in debt, 14 loans, and your economy is not looking good. It is going to take you a long bloody time to recover from this, even if you do win it. Meanwhile, Phoenix Empire continues spreading. Ovdal Kanzad continuing to expand. Unfortunately, the truth for Ovdal Kanzad is just a slow process. Being one of the remnants, it takes you a while to get going, because you don't have that initial impetus that the adventuring companies do. But once they get going, oh boy. Once they get going. So I think Vern's looking really good with their colonial impetus right now. Ebethil and Vern are definitely going to be the colonial players. They've done a really good job of curtailing Eliand and Venale, which I do really like. Duran continues to expand. Now, is Duran a vassal? I'm imagining... No, they're not. Interesting. Rubenair might try and jump on Duran to vassalize them, to take over their stuff. Herbs are disgusting only if you use the wrong herbs on them. The Greeks are getting no attention, but the Greeks aren't really doing very much. They've been very, very quiet. Like, I've been looking at people as and when they get the yellow flames, if I notice them. And they just haven't done much. They're sitting here. Manpower's rising very nicely. They're pretty wealthy. They probably should be expanding. Although they have a huge amount of aggressive expansion against them. But I think at this point I wouldn't care. I'd just keep going. Is it an overextension thing? Nope, they're not coring anything. Oh no, they have one thing to core. Except that's a territory. They can't core it because that'll put them even further over the governing capacity, which is not allowed by the rules of this. In fact, I wonder... You're just under... You're significantly under, so Yordland I'd like to see a bit more aggressive. Oh wait, is that a vassal? Oh, that's a vassal! Oh, okay, you've expanded as much as you can. with the exception of colonists going down here. And you do have a colonist, but only one. It looks like you're going for the little islands instead. You could also go up here if you wanted. But that actually suggests to me that there's going to be a conflict between these two sooner rather than later. Although Boscarvo just has so much space to expand into. Now, this is why I was really unsure about putting a player in this area. 2 colonists. Pretty much unlimited space around them. It's just single player expansion. And because they're here in the New World already, it's really difficult for the inverted commas Europeans to ship enough troops to actually face them down. Like, they have 121,000 manpower and a standing army of potentially 100,000. No colonial nation's going to be able to rival that. Even with the motherland support, they'd struggle. Like, Vern is a bit of a special case because they're the Emperor. Like Eberthil, 100,000 manpower, potentially 100,000 men as well, but they'd have to ship them over. And that leaves the homelands vulnerable. That's a good question. Who are the great powers at the moment? So Phoenix Empire, totally unsurprisingly, is in first. Eberthil is second. Okay, Boscarvo is third. Jordland is fourth. So third and fourth is those 2 ruin-born behemoths. Are they allied? Because that would be interesting. No, no allies. Then Kryenvar, Durkakeon, Elisna, and Bjornrik. So Elisna is the only AI left. That is not a player. Oh, you know what? The commander's no longer a great power. At all. Durkatheon is these guys, right? Yes. So if we go round in order, we got Phoenix Empire here in first place, and they're pretty far ahead of Eberthil, who are second. Then we've got Boscarvo, which is these guys. Then we've got fourth place, which is Jordland, which is these guys. Then we've got Kryenvar, which is the Wood Elves. Degatheon, which is these guys. So 3 of the top 6 have basically been playing single player in the New World. Elisna is 7th, is the last of the AIs left. Is Elisna a player? Are they just not here today? Elisna is a player. They're just not here today. Okay. And then Bjornrik is 8th. Meanwhile, back to this fight. So once again, we have Relskulka trying to take out the capital. -28. I'm hoping that we have a defensive edict on. We don't. Interesting choice. I think I probably would have turned that on to force Relskulka to take more manpower attrition, because their manpower is starting to look a little bit iffy. And they do not have the professionalism to tap to get more. Do they have any mercenaries? No. They are losing quite a lot of money, and they do have a looming disaster. Internal conflicts is ticking up. They do not currently have the stability boost. They are also significantly over their governing capacity. Whoops. Oslam Azdir is fine. So they've just taken Verkol Vaskron. They're now going for Amaldir. This is a defensive war, isn't it? Yeah, show superiority. Which currently they don't have. All of the battles. Minus 18% from battles. Wow, Oslam Azdir have been losing a lot of fights. Some really big ones too. Blimey. However, if rebels start arising... Wait, what's your war exhaustion? 2 against 5. You don't have a ticking disaster though, right? No. So Relskulka does, but again, all Relskulka needs to do is wait until Oslam Azdir goes bankrupt. Which they will. That's really, really bad management of money. Oh, more blue flames. Arboran is involved in another conflict. Is this against Karuvia? Yes. Called it! So, Krinvar is going against Karuvia. Arboran is actually supporting Karuvia right now. And Jaberd. And Telgia is not a player this time. What's the other one? Conwell's the player. So it's Sinvar and it is Phoenix Empire. I'm a little bit surprised they've done this now. Because Krinvar's manpower still hasn't recovered. That's because there's the Karuvians going on the offensive. Interesting. Okay, I like this move by Karuvia. Doing something to change the balance of power in this region. Because if they let Krinvar just recover, then like I said, I predict that that guy will just backstab him. Although Karuvia's army is immediately sent packing. We've got Krinvar coming in and occupying the capital right off the bat. Arboran is marching to their assistance. Jaberd notably isn't. Who's Conwell allied to? Wexvern and Anbennar. So they're very much part of the southern coalition. Whereas Jaberd is very much northern coalition. These two are going to have a huge freaking rivalry. I'm actually really surprised that more has not kicked off between these two. Although, look at this! That is what you call a bulwark. Blimey. I think that Jaberd's throwing their money around a little bit there. Are they building? They're building more. Yeah, Jaberd is incredibly wealthy. And they're going hard on just the defensiveness. Are they taking defensive ideas? Yep. I actually kind of like that. They are setting themselves up for this fight against Conwell. Meanwhile, Arboran's forces are marching in en masse, going straight for the capital because they know they have to take it. Karuvia standing by, ready to support. Karuvia has a couple of bonuses to everything, so they're not completely focused on just, say, cavalry. Krinvar, we know, have got good infantry, and they're just elves, so they're just good at discipline. And there we go, 76,000 against 70,000. Krinvar has the better general. This is in the mountains, so Krinvar does have the -1. Arboran doesn't have the morale. They don't have the discipline. They do have the back line, though. Both sides with very, very solid back lines. Arboran with a couple of reinforcements coming in. I'm not seeing casualties rise here because Karuvia is not actually in the fight, which is a little unfortunate. I'm sorry about that. But they will be very, very soon. Krinvar coming in with further reinforcements, 100,000 against 60,000. Now we get to see the numbers. And I think that Krinvar just... Marhold did the damage. They did what they needed to do and caused huge amounts of manpower loss, which, being elves, they're going to struggle to recover from. And I actually... Jaberd has appeared too. And that is a 10k stack that is about to get stack wiped. Jaberd probably should have stopped that move, but never mind. And this is going to be a free kill for Arboran here. Stack wipe, 10k. Bye-bye. So I don't think they'll be able to take anything from Krinvar. I would laugh a lot. In fact, you know what might actually be a really good move here? If Karuvia demands that Krinvar returns cause to Marhold. Because that would re-establish that bulwark. It would significantly weaken Krinvar and basically knock them out the game probably for half a session to a session. Oh, Karuvia is also in a golden age. Just notice that. You can see because this is super shiny. Which gives them another 10% morale. And Karuvia, despite being quantity, is going to recover manpower more slowly because they're elves. And they're apparently having rebel problems. Although what I imagine is going to happen here is Karuvia is going to take these Stalbor territories. And Marhold's just going to be left to crumble. Have Karuvia got themselves any other allies? I'd kind of like to see them allied to Vern. Or maybe Eberthil. Although that would then betray them as part of the Northern Coalition. Caruvia's just in a difficult spot. You know what? I would like to see Caruvia allied to Eberthil. I think that would be pretty powerful. Maybe even Caruvia Elisna? Though that wouldn't happen because Elisna is aligned to the Phoenix Empire. It would have to be Caruvia Eberthil. And there's still a chance that they would find themselves on opposite sides in a war. But then at least you have Eberthil buffering Caruvia against the elves. OG sick Caruvia player here. It's a war to return Marhold's cause. Interesting. I really like that play by Caruvia. I think that this is going to ingratiate Caruvia with the Escan nations, and it will show that Caruvia is willing to stand with them as a buffer. It's just unfortunate they didn't join the war earlier. Like, the actual war. Because I think their extra numbers would have made a big difference. You let Marhold's just sheer eliteness do the damage, while Caruvia's numbers just stand in the front line and take the hits. And do the sieging. Meanwhile, another battle. 55,000 of Arbaran's finest against 58,000 of Crionvar's worst. And it is 4.5 morale against 4.3, 115 discipline against 105. It does look like Crionvar is getting the advantage here, but there are significant numbers of Caruvian reinforcements waiting in the sidelines, ready to come in and support. 75,000 against 66,000. That is Telgir's forces sent packing, 60,000 against 61. We are seeing some reinforcements coming in. Einion against Adenica. Ooh, Defender of the Faith. Interesting. I'm guessing they'll say no to that. 105,000 Crionvars versus 95,000. We do have another 12,000 Caruvians. We've got Phoenix Empire starting to appear. And I think the Phoenix Empire might well have the numbers to turn this. Although the Phoenix Empire have been really bad at managing their manpower. But I do think it's the right move here, keeping pressure on the elves. Do not let them recover that manpower. That is their great problem. Their great vulnerability is a lack of manpower, and both of these are currently tapped. I mean, yeah, they have 10k, but that's going to go in no time. You got 13k, but both of you out of professionalism. Meanwhile, I want to see what Arbaran is bringing to the table at the moment. Arbaran also in a golden era. 7 professionalism, so they can tap it once. They've got just over half of their manpower still to go. None of their troops fight at all, interestingly. They've got 5% discipline, that's it. So all Arbaran and Caruvia really bring to this table is troops. So this is going to be the polar opposite to the Crionvar war. Crionvar's going to have the quality, but not the numbers. Arbaran and Caruvia are going to have the numbers, but not the quality. How long is Marhold's truce? Because Marhold might want to get involved with this. 1540, that's 11 years. Quite a long time. Did Marhold go bankrupt? They might have done a planned bankruptcy to recover their economy more quickly. Doesn't look like it though. No loans. I think someone just paid their loans off. There's no way they would have recovered from bankruptcy this quickly. I would imagine that small country was probably flexing their economic muscles a little, because, my god, they make a lot of money. Currently at war with Vertesk. This is small country and gnomish hierarchy against Riveria. This is probably going to be a fight more for the gnomes. Not allowed to truce break. That's one of the rules. No truce breaks, no CBs. Meanwhile, how's this fight going? So, Oslam Azdir is offering peace deals. Interesting! Amaldir has actually been occupied. But at what cost? 4,000 ducats and 28 loans. I think the only way out of this is going to be a forced bankruptcy. Like, as soon as you peace Relskalker out, hit that bankruptcy button, get rid of all of your loans, get rid of all of your adventurers, and then just pray that Frozen Moor and Haraz Odlum don't come for you. In fact, Haraz Odlum, you do actually have Kugdir supporting you. So that is probably going to be enough to stop Haras Aslam going after you. Frozen Moor, though, that's another question. They do have an adjacency here, so whatever happens, Krugdir can join the fight. But Frozen Moor is just so big, I'm not sure that that will matter. Although Frozen Moor have been beaten up by Bjornrik. Meanwhile, good guy Telgir taking back the old Kump. Arboran provided 3,000 ducats to Marhold. All payouts from the Adenica War went to Marhold. Interesting. Okay. Because, yeah, Marhold do seem to have recovered incredibly quickly here. And Adenica is coming back in a big way. Pioneers Guild is occupying Covenblad. There is a war against Aronian, Corinthar, and Luciand. I'm guessing that you and that guy are no longer allied, though. No. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times. Yep, still shame on you. Fool me 4 times, though. Then maybe I'll start reconsidering. Although, to be fair, that guy was actually a really good ally of Goward in the multiplayer. Like, I was playing against him. He was Bjornrik. I was Lorent. And that guy was definitely the freaking problem. Goward I could have dealt with, but Bjornrik? Ouch. The Pleb Lord and Ryu Planeswalker, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Never thought I'd be cheering vampires against elves. Adenica made it clear that they were going to go after every Koronite nation, and Arboran has to go Koronite by missions. And the idea was that setting up a fight against only Kryenvar was the best shot Marhold would get. Carried Goward in that first war when you were Lorent, yeah. As nerve-wracking as those wars were, they were kind of fun. The wars against Elnar were the ones that just weren't at all interesting. The wars against Goward and Bjornrik, those were really, really good. Unfortunately, fighting against Elnar just felt like I was just being exploited left, right and centre. Wasn't at all fun. I wish the Anbennar idea pack was updated to work again. Yeah, I mean, we are playing with our own idea thing made by that guy. I can't rail on him too heavily. He's actually put in a bunch of work, and I give him full credit for this, so thank you, that guy, for doing this, because it is really cool. Putting in so much work for the different idea sets to make them play differently and have a different balance, in particular in multiplayer. Like the fact that Kryenvar has gone quantity economic here, that is very much the min-max way to go. That is the meta, as much as I hate metas. But it's not necessarily the best option anymore, because quantity and economic have been rebalanced. So it looks like both sides kind of waiting for the other to make a move. Phoenix Empire have started to arrive in larger numbers. And I wonder if Conwell's going to be watching this going, Jabad is very, 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 very busy with other affairs right now. How much money are you making, Conwell? A lot. More than Jabad. Just. And you're not paying for about 1 million forts. Do you have any special artifice things yet? Spark drive. Oh, you got the spark drive rifle already? Huh. Vendorless stall. Got war golems. T-wave transceivers. You know what? The ones that I don't recognise, I'm not going to look at because I still want to be surprised about those in my game. I was mostly interested just to see if there was anything which gives siege capability. Siege defense. And no. Would that have been turrets? No, turrets will siege your offense, wasn't it? Meanwhile, over here, we've got rebels rising up. We've got Oslam Azdir actually attacking into Relskulker. Relskulker having big freaking problems with rebels. Did not get the internal conflicts under control whatsoever, and that war exhaustion is getting really, really bad. And Haraz Ordum and Krakdumvor has gone after Relskulker, so the AI has actually jumped on Relskulker and not their fellow dwarves, despite the fact that these two are rivals. Are you rivals with Haraz Ordum as well? Diplomacy. Asdir, Krugdir, and Haraz Ordum, so yes. So it still makes sense that Haraz Ordum has gone after them. And Krakdumvor being way up there, I don't think they'll be able to commit very much. Do you have a border with Krakdumvor? You do. And I'll bet that you gave them permission to walk through your lands to join the fight against Relskulker. So Relskulker kinda screwed. Where are your armies? Do you have any? Nope. So his army's got stack wiped somewhere along the way. Army maintenance, 0. Still losing 13 ducats a month. Ouch. A lot of that because of interest. You've taken 1,700 ducats in loans. I mean, it's not as bad as these guys, but they're almost 5,000. I think that you two probably want to peace out as soon as possible. You're probably going to take this central area. Relskulker's not feeling too good. I am not surprised. Meanwhile, big fights going on. Kryenvar fighting against Giberd, 50,000 against 70,000, while there was another Kryenvar fight going on in the north. Karuvia just sitting here watching the gnomes get slaughtered as the... Oh no, there are actually Karuvians on the flanks. It's like, it's great, I can't tell if there's actually anyone fighting here, but it was Giberd and the Karuvians. Karuvia coming in with more reinforcements. However, they have been sent packing. This is going to be a 30,000 against the 90,000. And I think that might well be a stack wipe. That is going to be very unfortunate for Karuvia. That was some really poor timing. Arboran kind of coming in at the last second, trying to regain some semblance of a victory out of this, but I think you need to stop that move. Don't do this. Don't do this. No, they've been locked in. Oh no, that's going to be another 12,000 losses for Arboran now. And that is a series of victories for Kryenvar, which Karuvia and Arboran just can't afford, and I think that Kryenvar might actually come and win this. Their quality showing through. And that is another stack wipe. So if we just take a look at this from Kryenvar's perspective for a second, we can see that Karuvia and Co have lost 208,000, whereas Kryenvar have lost 150,000. Kryenvar is tapped for manpower. They don't have any more to go, but they can now get mercenaries. They have not as yet done so, however. Meanwhile, 7% chance of success on that, and we can see that Ovlam Azdir is still investing in the old colonization, which, I mean, they probably have to do, but that's going to be another expense that they just can't afford. Ooh, that's a lot of rebels, Magama. Blimey. Everyone's getting the disasters, but oh no, it's not a disaster, it's just lots of rebels. Huh. So yeah, unfortunately this war is looking at a minus 21% for the guys who started it. Because they wanted to take Vernum, which they're just not able to do at the moment. And we have the Phoenix Empire stabbing in through the south. We got Orbelig's child separatists rising up at the moment. Aranan, meanwhile, occupying a chunk of Eberthil. Oh, Eberthil's going after Buzalar. Fair enough.